many people if they don't even have bathrooms? That's crazy.
It could, you know, the protest is just as close as the flower beds, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they got the bathrooms locked there.
That's one of the reasons for the ordinance. They said it's because people urinating in the flower beds.
Yeah, I posted a funny cartoon. I thought it was funny. Anyway, on my blog, it's got this older homeless man. He's kind of toothless. And there's holes in his clothing, and his hat's pretty beaten up. And he's standing there with a jar, and these two cops kind of confronting him. One saying, "Well, Clancy, and he may have us on a technicality. It may not be urinating in public if he uses a jar." The guy's holding a jar.
Who did the comic?
I think it was like F-, I think was where I got it from.
I'm trying to find some people that are cartoonists or
Yeah, well, Ted Wall is excellent.
local.
No, he's national, but he's about the only comic worth reading.
See, I need someone that would listen to me.
Yeah, well, Ted Wall's got he's got a Facebook, and you can write to him. I mean, you know, he talks to people.
Do you have a card for your blog?
Me, it's can you remember Soul Snatcher Productions?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's
It's
kinda
Mason
creepy.
County. Well, I just thought I'd run with it. That's what I named my company. You know.
Yeah.
People were always complaining about me taking their pictures, and I thought,
Right.
I might as well roll with it, you know.
Sure. You do it. You do capture their image, I've noticed.
Oh yeah. I mean,
That makes some people uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable. But
well, George
Each to his
Orwell.
own.
I like George Orwell a lot. He said, journalism is printing what somebody doesn't want published. Everything else is public relations.
yeah. Okay. Well played.
Yeah.
Yes.
I get stuff from like the cops and from conservatives. I get it from everybody. I must be doing something right because everybody hates me. So,
So
you know,
you consider yourself neutral in that case? Certainly.
I have biases,
I already heard your opinion.
and you know, just there's no such thing as an unbiased reporter or report. Just what you choose to cover shows some bias.
Yes, it does. That's true.
So.
Well, I don't mind the bias in that case.
And
Our
frankly,
biases are aligned.
I'm disappointed, but it is interesting that there was a lady from the Soviet Union. She's been in this country 19 years. There's some people, kids on the sidewalk or sidewalk outreach for young people, youth that are homeless. And they were talking about how generous, how charitable the mayor's been in the city. And I said, wait a minute. You know, if we go back to the civil rights movement, it doesn't matter how many cookies or how much I gave to Goodwill. You know, if I'm still voting for Jim Crow laws, I said this isn't about charity; it's about civil rights. They've criminalized the entire class of people, regardless how charitable they've been. So, you know, so it's important to have a dialogue with people so that they understand what the issues are. The issues aren't, well, gee, if we were just all more charitable, you know, that this would resolve the problem. The civil rights.
Wait, the press? Interviewing the press?
I love this big button.
Yeah, you know, I'm out in public, man. You know, I'm fair game.
I'm Lorian.
Hi.
I saw you the other night at Monica Hoover's event.
Monica Peabody, I've known her for a lot of years. Yeah, she's
Who are
been.
you?
My name's John.
Hi, John.
I'm a kind of an independent reporter that I've got my own company, and I
What's your
just.
last name?
My last name's Smith, but Amicus Curie is my business name.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you, sir.
Shelter Network coordinator for Interfaith.
Yeah.
That's some interesting things to say the other night. I am obviously really interested in getting information out.
Well, there's a lot of tension. I mean, people recognize that, you know, we're living in a police state, and so that always makes dialogue difficult because people are like, it was like Romania. A third of the people in Romania were spying on the other 2/3.
If we all take our masks off and be honest,
We're all just little kids.
the whole thing about trying to talk about stuff in the quiet on the PT is that creates paranoia and that creates the ability to risk. Keep your masks off, talk in public. If you're going to go burn down City Hall, tell them that you're going to do it. And make it stop.
I can't second guess people's own lights on what they think they need to be safe, but I can tell you one thing, that I've been doing a lot of reading, like about women, and some of the resistors today are women, and they always have been, but the Machiavelli and the Prince put it pretty well.
One of my favorite political texts.
He said, very few people can challenge the Prince, can try to overthrow him, but everyone can conspire against him. There's something, because they're talking about
the DC politics in the 16th century, so.
No, but it was timeless advice. He said, if you're going to strike a king, you must kill him. I mean, I tell people this all the time. I say, if you're going to gouge the bear's eye with a stick, you better make sure the stick's longer than the bear's arm. Your stick isn't that long.
Just make sure you can run faster than the last one.
Yeah. Just make sure that you don't have to be the fastest, just as long as you don't have the slowest, right? Yeah.
Where I'm at right now is that we need this because
oh yeah.
there's no
I gotta have a chair.
Right. There's no political consequence to fucking the homeless.
That's right. Because no politician counts them as his constituents.
Right. And nobody's willing to make that decision painful.
Well, they weren't willing to do it in Martin Luther King's day either. The people had to make John F. Kennedy do it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to take the political heat. So Martin Luther King got his organization to turn up the heat enough that the Kennedy brothers had to do something. Just like Roosevelt said, to his constituents, he agreed with them. He said, now go out and make me do it. You have to make them do it.
There was never ever a question that the ordinance was not going to pass.
No, it was they made up their mind for anybody open their mouth.
We spent a month pretending that this was not a foregone conclusion.
Oh yeah,
but
right.
My problem with this whole thing is that it ends. People like me and Danny Hayden and Interfaith Works and all the folks who are actually doing the work. We are creating the shelters, we are building the programs, we're doing all of this stuff. And then the city has a problem, right? That's a crisis. And so we go chasing that squirrel. And
it's management by crisis. That's exactly what they're doing.
And but the thing about it is that we in the faith communities and in the homeless communities are playing the game. We are scrambling around.
Huh?
Does that have audio?
Yeah, I'm wired like a Christmas tree.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Is that live?
I'm not beaming it up to a satellite, but it will be live when I get home.
Wow, damn, that's cool. I want to see your site. Where can I get this?
amicuscuria.com/WordPress, or just do a search for Soul Snatcher Productions.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I think you're listed on the works in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Charity is not civil rights. Don't confuse the two. The city has been patting itself on the back on how charitable it's been, at the same time that it's eroding the civil rights of an entire class of people. This is about civil rights, not charity.
The only reason they're doing that is that we in the social service industry are playing the game.
Sure.
If we had all said, you know what, fuck you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, do what you're going to do, and do not try to buy us off for $35,000.
Well, that's exactly what's going on. You guys got your hand out, and so nobody's going to be biting the hand that feeds them. So, they act generous. They say, well, look how generous we're being. At the same time, they're passing Jim Crow laws. This is nothing. These are Jim Crow laws.
The other side of the coin, for $35,000, me and my network can shelter up to 40 guys for 3 months. Are we not going to take that money? That would be.
I'm not telling you guys how to play your cards. I'm just saying that I personally recognize what's going on. I can smell bullshit a long ways away. And I don't confuse charity with civil rights. Many of the homeless don't even want charity. They want to be left alone. Many of them need help, but a lot of them just want to be left alone.
Do not ever say most of the homeless for the homeless, for
I said many because I've talked to them.
I work with them all the time. I put them in shelter. I put them into housing.
Well, and a lot of them need help.
And I know your heart is totally in the right place, but part of the inanity of the conversation is that we are trying to identify this class of people, and then we're going to try to do something about it or for them. They're not a class of people. What they are they're individuals.
Legally, they're a class. They all have something in common. They're homeless.
But there's no legal. If there was a legal class, if we
there
recognize
is.
them legally.
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
Well, that's
where in the ADA, where in any federal or state law says you cannot discriminate against somebody because
it's in case law. Just like the guy that the library's discriminated against because he was homeless and he smelled bad, and he filed a class action lawsuit against him. It's a class of people.
I haven't yet seen any class action lawsuits that have been successful on behalf of.
He got like over $1 million award because they discriminated against him because he smelled bad.
Or perhaps he should take a fucking shower.
Yeah, but the city doesn't give them. Well, you know, I talked to a guy about the union gospel mission.
The Olympia Center has showers for 50 cents, 5 minutes.
There are people that don't have 50 cents.
I'll give them 50 fucking cents.
Well, great.
The point that we're going to define a class because that guy smells bad, that's bullshit law.
The homeless are considered by the courts as a class of people just like
let me say, I have
you can have a class of people with 5 members.
I have not heard here in Washington State of any successful class action lawsuit on behalf of the homeless. Now, I could be wrong. And please, if I am wrong,
this was not a Washington lawsuit. It was back east. But no, it's back east. But all the libraries heard about it because the libraries were discriminating against the homeless.
No, they're saying you need to meet a certain standard.
Right.
To be, and I'm sorry.
Well, they lost that lawsuit.
Yeah, I hear. I understand somewhat sympathize.
Yeah, I remember the conversations the judge had with the people. This is my wife. Hello, sweetie. I'm at City Hall if you want to come by, and you could park across the street in Walt's muffler. You know, there looks like there's some empty parking spots there if you want. So okay. I'm directly across the street from Walt's Radiator and Muffler Repair Shop, corner of City Hall. Okay, talk to you later. What I wanted to share with you is that,
Hi, Wendy.
That when I follow this stuff, I'm paralegal, so I read case law a lot. The judge had a colloquy with the litigants, and they were saying, just like you're saying, well, no, we got to go down and take a shower. And the judge, it was the judge talking, and he said, well, maybe it wouldn't smell so bad if you provided him with a place to shower. In other words, the judge was holding the greater community responsible, at least in part, for the fact that this guy was in their midst and he smelled bad. I've seen people get on a bus, you know, and they smelled so bad.
They come into my office all the time.
Yeah, and after they got off the bus, you know, the driver leaves the door open as he's going down to air the bus out. Okay, but I don't.
But that's not something we need to defend.
Huh?
That's something we need to take care of.
It is.
That's something we should defend.
Well, no, but I was on a bus just a year or so ago. I was covering the Northwest Folk Art Festival, and there was an old man in a wheelchair. Okay, it was a black bus driver. Now, I've been up to Seattle in a suit and tie. It's a very hostile town as far as public bathrooms. I'll say, hey, could I use your bathroom? No, go down to the Greyhound station. So this guy, the driver's got to get out. It's packed, and it's one of these articulated buses. So,
right.
And it's rush hour. I mean, it's really jammed. So the guy gets out.
I've been in full life, but I know what you're talking about.
And he lowers the lift, and he gets this guy on. And the presenters, the bus driver's, this black guy's wrinkling his nose. He doesn't like what he's having to do. He's strapping the guy in. The guy's like urinated in his pants. I mean, and he's like maybe in his 70s. And he's fragile and he's in a wheelchair. And he starts ridiculing the guy in front of the entire bus, going, woo-wee, you know, somebody must have done something in their pants. And this, he
No,
went
that's
on.
very unfortunate.
He went on and he went on, and finally I couldn't handle it anymore. And I said, well, sir, you know, the city of Seattle doesn't exactly have a great reputation when it comes to hospitality for public bathrooms. And I looked at him, and he knew he was on thin ice. I had a tie on, and he didn't know who I was. Maybe, you know, I worked in the mayor's office. He knew, and he said, yeah, I guess I know what you mean, bro. And then, you know, he lightened up and he sat down behind the wheel and you know, took what I'm saying there is, as a community, when we stigmatize people because they relieve themselves in public, when we lock the public bathrooms so that they can't use them, deliberately so they can't use them, the city's got nobody to blame but itself. If the homeless are using relieving themselves in public, this has been brought to their attention. As far as I know, the public bathrooms are still all locked.
You can go in the back door from brunch, grab the key, go in, use your bathroom, and exit, and nobody's going to stop.
Can I go in right now if I have to use the bathroom?
Go to brunch and do it anytime.
Where?
The coffee shop after at brunch.
Well, I don't know where that is.
Well, it's on Capitol, and look, I'm not saying, we do need to address the fact that people pee and poop. And as soon as we get our heads
part
around
of life.
that, as soon as we get our heads around that and provide adequate, I mean, it wasn't so long ago that we had public hygiene stations.
Yeah. Even the poorest countries have public bathrooms.
Seattle, the whole part that, you know, that pergola down in Pioneer Square, originally, that's the remains of what was a public hygiene facility that had, you know, 100 showers, a house, a toilet, and the whole nine yards. So,
well, it's unconscionable. It's disgraceful when we lock. Like, we have trash receptacles. Do we have like a coin-operated trash receptacles? Do they lock those?
What are we going to do about the fact that sharks get left in them, that women get raped in them, that there's a whole bunch of...
Are we gonna reduce crime by locking our public bathrooms?
We're going to displace that crime.
I heard this up at Pioneer Square when I walked into the bathroom there, and the door is off the men's room, you know,
yeah.
and then I had to sit on a toilet, and the doors are all off the stalls, and I'm sitting on the john because I got to use something, and I'm watching women and children and people walking by on the sidewalk as I'm sitting on the crapper in the bathroom. Now, you know, I complained to a police officer there was...
that was in Pike Place Market, right?
Yeah, and he goes, well, you know...
Because they got fed up with the crime.
Right.
And so that was the reaction to it. It's like, okay, if you got nothing to hide, quite frankly, again, back to the issue that everybody poops and pees, well, it should not be a big deal.
I'm sorry, but I was raised in this country, and I would prefer to do my business without doing it in front of everybody, you know.
But that's a
dignity.
But that's a cultural decision, right?
It is.
You can poop and pee and have other people watch you, and that's not going to...
But at the same time, we're going to arrest people for relieving themselves in public because they don't have access to a bathroom.
Oh, agreed. I agree. Alex Day actually has been working towards...
Is that Mike O'Day's
I have no idea what his relations are, but Alex has been... He got involved, well, he was part of the Occupy movement, and when that kind of left, his kind of fixation was, or not fixation, but his area where he wanted to work was getting a public bathroom.
It's a no-brainer.
Well, it's an expensive no-brainer.
It's more expensive if we end up with these kind of diseases that could put public health...
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But the problem...
I mean, the fire department's expensive,
too. The problem politically is that it's not a rational argument that ever succeeds. It is an emotional appeal that ends up becoming public policy.
Oh, not what I'm arguing, what they're doing. Yeah, I'm arguing rationally.
But that's not how you win political battles. You win political battles by making the appropriate appeal to emotion. Politics are not about rationale.
Oh, often that's true.
I would say, in my experience,